Good afternoon, Sean here, Mountains Garage. I knew today and probably tomorrow were going to be days cleaning parts, which means a lot of downtime. So I figured I'd bring in an auxiliary project to pass the time. I was inspired while I was outside in the snow yesterday. No sense digging out a piece of steel on a nice day, so I waited till there was snow on top of it and ice. And I dragged in a rusty piece of steel with the goal of making a fixture to weld up my turbo log manifold. And this is how it went. A couple of years ago, on a beautiful spring day, a buddy and myself were up in a junkyard about an hour from my house. I was looking for a set of doors for my 49 Chevy, which I found. But he also is a scrapper, and he had bought a dumpster full of random pieces of steel. And he sold it to my buddy and I for $100 a piece. It was a heavy load, full of all kinds of strange pieces. I was inspired yesterday to go out in the snow and dig for a piece about this size. And today I'm sanding off with my dustless sander the rust for the next project I'm going to do. My idea is to make a jig so I can weld up my Turbo LS log manifold. So I'm going to mark it and drill and tap it. And then I'm going to mill it flat afterwards. I made this milling attachment one of the first projects when I got the mill. I watched the video and made my own mill. I've tried it out once. It does a good job, so I'm going to actually put it to use. So I'm going to clamp that down, use a transfer punch to mark all my holes, and drill and tap it. I'll be back in a minute. All marked out and over here on the mill. Excuse the background noise, there's too much equipment running at the moment. For the M8 125 threaded hole, it calls for a 6.7 millimeter drill size. A 17/64 is like 6.69 millimeters, so close enough. For the first hole, I marked it with a Sharpie. Now I have my stop set, so it'll repeat every time. 5 holes to go. I managed to drill 6 holes and get them tapped M8 1.25 without breaking anything. I cleaned up 6 bolts from my LS pile. That'll be part of the jig. And for an exhaust flange, this is probably flat enough, but I'm going to go ahead and mill it anyway. I'm going to mill the backside first, so it sits flat in the vise, and then I'll mill the top. I may have to chase the threads in my holes again, but I'm pretty convinced that I could stop here and everything would be fine, but I'm going to keep going. Why not? Again, sorry about the noise, but that completes the backside. I'm not sure why I thought this was a good idea. It's super important if you're trying to assemble an engine to cover the entire shop with fine metal particles. I'm hiding behind this cardboard shield while I'm turning the hand crank. This would be a good day for a power feed. But I'll flip it over and try again. I have the block of steel sitting on a couple of 1/4-inch parallels to get the surface up above the face of the vise. This is the surface of my table saw 5 or 6 feet away. That fine metal is everywhere. What a mess. But it'll clean up. I started on the backside, like I said, and it actually just did a little triangle, and the triangle kept coming down further. That's how far not flat it was. Flipping it over, this is just my first pass, and it's touching the whole way, so doing it on the back first was definitely the way to start. Now both sides are parallel to each other. I'll give it one finish cut and I'll see if I can film a little bit of it. The old chip chucker. Well, that actually came out nice. Pretty satisfying. The piece of steel was a long way from flat. And again, I'm glad I started on the back, because it made the front parallel and it's as flat as I need it to be, and then some. I made a devastating mess. It just took me a half an hour to clean it up. But hey, it needed sweeping anyway. I'll be finding that fine grit for quite a while to come. But I've gone through this before. The mill's awesome. I should build some kind of shield to kind of knock that stuff down. But either way, it's removing metal, and you got to find it and pick it up. A few years ago, I believe it was the spring of 2017, right around this time of year, February, there was an online auction for a place that had gone out of business near the big airport here, about a half an hour away. There was a day you could go view everything, which I did. I took a few notes, and the day of the auction, I won 7 or 8 items. And my brother gave me a hand the day the stuff was available to pick up. And we freighted my Suburban, and I dragged it all home. I never researched what the company did, but they had a lot of machine tools. They also had a lot of furniture making stuff. I should still look up what they did. I don't know, but I knew the name of the company. May 1st, I'm at the junkyard, like I told you, and there's that dumpster full of steel with the same company name on it. So that came from there as well. Pretty interesting. So I dragged all that home and piled it up, and I got it. A lot of it's under the bench. A lot of it, the weird shaped stuff, is outside. I got like octagon pieces of steel. Stuff I'll probably never use, but this stuff here looked really handy. Most of the time you're not going to make a bracket out of this, but in this case, I needed something heavy, and I have pennies into it. So it's a win. I love building tools. It's really satisfying. This was a good day. Cleaning parts, well, it's coming, slow but sure. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll be back on cylinder heads before you know it for the 6-liter Turbo LS project.